Have you ever wondered how all of this actually works? How computers all over the world can talk to each other. How does a message you send from your phone get to a friend halfway across the planet? Well, it turns out it's all based on a few simple rules, and that's what we're going to break down right now.
First, let's think about a really simple question. If you wanted to send an actual physical letter to a friend who lives far away, what would you do? You'd probably go through the post office, right? You'd follow a few basic steps.
Well, believe it or not, computers are doing pretty much the same thing all the time. They're constantly sending digital letters or messages back and forth to each other. When you really get down to it, that's what the internet is, a giant global postal service for computers.
To really get why this is a challenge, just think about the sheer number of computers out there. We're not talking about just a few machines. We're talking about billions of devices, all trying to communicate at once. For them to work together without it being total chaos, they need a clear, shared way of talking.
So what's the solution? It's pretty simple, actually. They need a set of rules. Imagine a busy intersection with no traffic lights or stop signs. It would be a complete mess. Rules are what make everything run smoothly. And it's exactly the same for computers.
In the tech world, there's a specific name for these rules, a protocol. And that's all it is. A protocol is just an agreed-upon rule that computers follow when they talk to each other. It's like their own special language.
It's a lot like the grammar we use. See, I'm following the rules of grammar right now so you can understand what I'm saying. Well, computers do the exact same thing. They follow the rules of a protocol so they can understand each other. You could say that protocols are the grammar of the internet.
Okay, so let's jump back to our postal service idea. It's the perfect way to understand how computers send a digital letter by following these rules, these protocols.
So, with a physical letter, you've got a few basic steps, right? You write the message, you put it in an envelope, you write the address on the front, and then you send it. Well, the two most important rules on the internet work in a very similar way. The first one is called TCP. You can think of TCP as the rule for preparing the message. It takes your big digital letter, breaks it into smaller pieces called packets, and then makes sure every single one of those packets arrives safely on the other side. It's like checking to make sure all the pages of your letter are in the envelope. The next rule is called IP. That stands for Internet Protocol. And this is just the address system for the internet. The IP rule is what puts the correct address on each of those little packets. Every single device on the internet has its own unique IP address, kind of like how every house has a mailing address. It just makes sure your message gets to the right place.
So TCP and IP are a team. They have to work together. That's why you almost always hear them mentioned together as TCP/IP. TCP gets the message ready, and IP puts the address on it. One really can't work without the other.
Now, I know this might sound pretty technical, but here's the amazing thing. You use these rules every single day, and you probably don't even realize it. So let's take a look at how they pop up in your daily life.
Okay, so TCP/IP is the foundation, like the main postal system. But there are other, more specific protocols for different jobs. When you visit a website, for example, your browser is using a rule called HTTP. When you send an email, it's using one called SMTP. Think of them as different types of mail services, one for postcards, another for packages, but they all rely on that main TCP/IP post office to get delivered.
And all of these different rules are working together in the background, totally invisibly. You don't have to think about them, they just work. They make sure your websites load, your emails go through, and your videos play, all smoothly and quickly.
So why is this all so important? Why do we even need this shared system of rules? Well, it really all comes down to creating one single common language for every computer out there.
And really, this is the whole point. It doesn't matter if a computer is made by one company or another, if it's a brand new smartphone or some old server in a basement. As long as it uses these shared protocols, it can understand any other computer perfectly. It's a universal language for all technology.
So the next time you send a message or watch a video, just take a second to remember these protocols. They're the silent, helpful rules working behind the scenes, and they're what make it possible for you to connect to the entire digital world.
And that kind of leaves us with a fascinating question, doesn't it? As technology keeps changing with things like AI and all these new connected devices, what new rules will we need to invent for the internet of tomorrow? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this one.